Kane's ruffled Victor's feathers more than any business rival we've seen in a hot minute. We can't remember the last time the mustache thought Newman Enterprises was in jeopardy due to anyone other than his own offspring. That said, the tables are about to turn on Ashby, and the fallout may leave Genoa City in chaos. Presumably part of the divide-and-conquer strategy Victor proposed to Jack and Billy, the Newman is set to make his first strike against Kane and the threat he presents. Young and restless spoilers indicate that Victor will share shocking news with Jill by mid-week, which will undoubtedly bring to light some unsavory details that Kane would rather be left in the dark. Always 10 moves ahead of his opponent in chess, expect Victor's reveal to Kane's surrogate mama to be a game-changer as well. What will he tell her? He could certainly dirty Ashby's name by filling Jill in on him having Nick and Sharon locked in his chateau, his son's resulting brush with death, and the near-miss attempt to get Nikki to sign over Chancellor. But more likely, the Black Knight will uncover the fraudulent dealings that led Colin to taking possession of the chateau in the first place. Although Kane called Victor's bluff when he threatened to go public with the illegal activity, there was little doubt that he knows it will affect his business, not to mention his family, with whom he's already in the doghouse. Jill, meanwhile, is bound to be scandalized, and not a little disappointed given she believed Kane's claim that he built his empire on the up and up. Indeed, Kane will start to feel the walls crumbling when he's confronted by Jill and Lily by week's end. Who will tell Lily? Well, that brings us to the second prong of Victor's two-pronged attack. Having Adam publish the details of Colin's crime via Newman Media, that's one way for Ashby's ex to be alerted, and we can only imagine what she'll have to say on the sordid matter given it proves she was right all along to have suspicions. As the situation unravels for Kane, young and restless viewers can also expect a confrontation between him and Adam. With Ashby feeling everyone is against him, he may become more dangerous than ever. Hence the chaos in the forecast. Bring on the drama! Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. After more than 52 years on the air, a soap like Young and Restless can see certain couples fall in love, break up, and reunite, only to repeat the cycle many times over the decades. Such has been the case with Nick Newman and the two ex-wives constantly in his orbit, Sharon and Phyllis, and it has kept Y&R fans enthralled for a long time. But has it gone on too long? Is it time for one or more of these characters to get off the merry-go-round? Soap Opera Digest polled fans to ask which member of this popular triangle needs to find a new person to love the most, and the results are in. Only 13% of those who answered the question believe that Sharon should look somewhere other than at her high school sweetheart for a chance at romance. Of course, it's not like she hasn't done it before. Since her first marriage to Nick ended in divorce, Sharon has married other men, including multiple members of Nick's family, his half-brother Adam, his half-brother Dylan, and his father Victor. She has also been married to Jack Abbott and had a fling with his brother Billy, and did a stint as Mrs. Ray Rosales. But to the majority of those who answered the poll, it looks like none of that matters, and that fans still enjoy Sharon only having eyes for Nick. On the other hand, a larger 37% feel that it's time to free Nick from this never-ending back and forth between his ex-wives. Despite not being married to either woman at the moment, he has proven time and time again that his pull to each of them remains as strong as ever. While he's shared a kiss recently with Sharon, he also can't stand by and watch Phyllis self-destruct. They share a daughter in Summer, and because of her, he always wants to make sure Phyllis stays out of danger or trouble, even if it's of her own making, which it often is. Of course, Sharon has her own predilection for getting intro trouble, and they also share kids together, Noah and Faith. Not only that, but the devastation of losing Cassie at a young age has also bonded them in a very special way. Will these two commit to revisiting their love? Only time will tell. A whopping 50% of our readers cast their votes in favor of Phyllis finding a new love and putting Nick in her rear view once and for all. Besides her marriages to Nick, she's also been with Jack, but his marriage to Diane seems to be on solid footing right now. There is one other man in Genoa City who has walked down the aisle with the computer expert, and that's the rock star Danny Romalotti. Of course, Phyllis lied to him that he was her son Daniel's father at the time. Not only that, Danny is set to remarry the love of his life this coming November, so he doesn't seem like a likely candidate. Phyllis did have an affair with Billy, who is in yet another downward spiral, but she appears to have washed her hands of him. There is one man who has caught her eye lately, Kane Ashby. Will Kane be the one to make her finally forget Nick? Stay tuned! The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Tuesday, October 7th, 25, have Nikki settling unfinished business with Jill, Tessa worrying about Mariah's safety, and Nick questioning Phyllis's alliance with Kane. There's a long history between Jill Foster Abbott and Nikki Reed Newman, which dates back to Nikki's marriage to Jill's brother Greg. On Tuesday's show, watch for Nikki and Jill to interact when Nikki attempts to settle some unfinished business with her former sister-in-law. Y&R's strongest asset is its long-running veteran characters, so these scenes are ones that viewers are especially looking forward to seeing. We saw Tessa tell Sharon last week that she was going to try to get to the bottom of what was going on with Mariah. On Tuesday's show, watch for Tessa to worry about Mariah's safety. She has some information to go because Mariah told her wife that she had almost killed someone. That was what made her so fearful and caused her to leave her relationship. Tessa has enlisted Daniel's aid in trying to help Mariah. However, Tessa and Daniel teaming up could bring them even closer together. Even if Tessa rescues Mariah, will they have a relationship to resume? Phyllis Summers is a smart cookie. She must have gotten emotional support in her divorce settlement from ex-husband Nick. The man keeps an eye on his former wife, as she still cares for her deeply. On Tuesday's show, watch for Nick to question his former wife's alliance with Kane. The man known as Aristotle Dumas is a wild card. Some days, he's only concerned with his personal relationships, and others, he's set out to conquer all of Genoa City. Nick is right to be concerned about Phyllis's alliance with Kane. If there's one person in her life that Phyllis will listen to, it's Nick. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Wednesday, October 8th, reveal that Victor Newman will shock Jill Abbott with some news, while Jack Abbott pressures Kane Ashby. During the Tuesday, October 7th episode, Victor interrupted a rather heated discussion between Jill and Nikki Newman as they were arguing about Kane. Nikki was hoping to gain an ally in Jill to stop the billionaire mogul from taking over all the major corporations in Genoa City. However, Jill insisted that Nikki was overreacting. Nikki mentioned this to Victor as the three of them were in the living room of the Newman Ranch, so as the Y&R October 7th show closed, Victor promised he'd be able to change Jill's mind about Kane. Still, she shrugged it off. So can Victor accomplish his goal during the October 8th episode? At this point, it feels as if no one can get through to Jill about her pseudo-son. Whether it's Nikki or her real son, Billy Abbott, Jill can't see past the Kane she once knew, not the power-hungry one that has evolved over the years. Jill has a massive soft spot for Kane, but it sounds like whatever Victor tells the woman will catch her completely off guard. Has anyone really filled Jill in on what happened in Nice? This might be what Victor does to stun the woman into realizing that Kane isn't all he's cracked up to be. Speaking of Kane, Y&R spoilers for Wednesday, October 8th. Note that he'll be pressed by Jack to do the right thing. Is this all part of Jack's ploy to get the better of Kane, or will he attempt to reason with him? Kane and Jack were friends at one point back in the day, so perhaps Jack may decide to take a softer approach as an angle for a change. Finally, Nikki will go searching for answers. Is this to come up with a strategy to help Jill see the light, or is this about something entirely different? Nikki truly feels like Jill is the key to squashing Kane's dastardly AI plans, so fans will need to tune in to see exactly what the Newman matriarch is up to. The Young and the Restless spoilers remind fans that Nikki does have a ton on her plate right now, but bringing Kane to his knees and eliminating him as a threat to her family's legacy seems like the top priority right now for her and just about everyone else in Genoa City. The Young and the Restless, recap for Tuesday, October 7th, hints that Tessa Porter will provide an update on what she learned when she investigated Mariah Copeland's horror business trip, which includes the mystery man's identity. Plus, Nikki Newman will spar with Jill Abbott. So it's time to talk about Tuesday's Y&R show. The sad part is, Nikki and Jill started on pleasant terms when Jill arrived at the Newman Ranch. Nikki thanked Jill for selling Chancellor to Victor Newman, and Jill nicely confirmed that Catherine Chancellor would have approved of Nikki running her company. With that said, the niceties were cut short when Nikki blatantly asked Jill if she was going to help her, and Victor stopped Kane Ashby. As fans know, Kane has his sights set on taking over the companies from the three major powerhouse families in GC: the Newmans, the Abbotts, and potentially the Winters. Jill fluffed off Nikki at every turn during their conversation. At first, she pointed out that she had no real influence on Kane, and when Nikki pressed that Jill knew Kane was Aristotle Dumas before the world did, Jill shrugged off the idea that Kane was as diabolical as Nikki thought. Over at Society, Phyllis Summers entered to see Victor there, and she joined him at a table. The two sparred during their entire conversation, as Victor played mind games to see if he could get Phyllis to spill on Kane's plan, and Phyllis hurled some insults his way as well. Victor finally decided to leave the establishment. He paid the tab, only for Nick Newman to enter. With that said, instead of insults, Nick tried to encourage and build Phyllis up the best he could in an effort to sway her against working for someone as ruthless as Kane, especially considering what Kane was planning. Nick told his ex that she was enough, and she could do something more with her career, something better. But Phyllis reminded Nick that, unlike him, she doesn't have a rich dad who can hand her a dream job at a moment's notice. Phyllis ended up storming out of Society, demanding that Nick butt out of her affairs, much to Nick's frustration. Back to Jill and Nikki, Victor arrived home to find Jill there. Nikki relented about the fact that Jill wouldn't budge her stance on Kane, and with a smug look, Victor promised to sway her. Across town, Y&R recaps for the Tuesday, October 7th show note that Sharon Newman was at Crimson, gearing up to head to the airport for Los Angeles to visit Noah Newman. However, Tessa stopped her from doing so. She and Daniel Romalotti returned from the deep dive into Mariah's business trip that had since left her rattled, and they provided quite a lot of information. Much to Sharon's horror, Tessa relayed that she showed Mariah's picture to the staff at the hotel she stayed at during her business trip, and the bartender remembered her. He revealed that Mariah met up with an older gentleman whose name is Will Hensley, and the two connected over drinks. Tessa also found out that Will and Mariah were drinking, got close, kissing, and headed upstairs. But what happened after that seems far more disturbing than Mariah connecting with an older gentleman in general. When Sharon saw the photo of Will, she was shocked and believed that he may have taken advantage of her daughter. Still, Tessa interjected that Mariah had told her she had tried to kill an older gentleman that night, so it was safe for Tessa to assume that said older gentleman was Will, and he didn't hurt Mariah. It was the opposite. It's hard to know whether or not Mariah was intimate with Will, but Tessa was rattled at the fact that the staff noted Will checked out halfway through the night and did not want to wait until the morning to leave the hotel. He left in a rush, and while he was alive, he was also extremely shaken. The staff was unaware of Mariah's state the morning after, as she did a contactless checkout. Tessa reminded Sharon that Mariah had stated she began drinking as a way to process the trauma she endured from Ian Ward. Tessa noted that Will is around the same age as Ian and has the same body type, so perhaps something about Will triggered Mariah to do what she did, based on her Ian memories. Y&R recaps imply that Daniel had an even creepier theory. As Will didn't die, Daniel thought he may be seeking retribution on Mariah for the incident. The Young and the Restless spoilers state that Daniel believes Mariah could be in more danger than everyone realizes. So is this foreshadowing a potentially dire situation on the horizon for both Mariah and Tessa, along with anyone else in their orbit? The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, October 7th, hint at some explosive moments in Genoa City. Two rivals have some unfinished business, while a wife worries, and a character questions their ex. What's on the horizon for Tuesday's show? Time to find out. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, October 7th. Note that Nikki Newman and Jill Abbott will square off, as the two rivals will try and settle some unfinished business. Nikki and Jill have rarely been on the same page, although one thing that both women can agree on is their love and admiration of Catherine Chancellor. Will this confrontation turn ugly, or can they find some common ground? It sounds like fans should expect a truce between the two ladies, but only time will tell. Across town, on top of everything else Tessa Porter has had to worry about where her wife, Mariah Copeland, is concerned, during the October 7th episode, she'll also worry about her safety. This doesn't sound good. Tessa is set to update Sharon Newman on what she and Daniel Romalotti found out about while investigating Mariah's incident during her business trip. And it'll be disturbing. Mariah tried to suffocate that older man, and she confessed this to Tessa before she headed out of town to therapy. But what information will Tessa and Daniel provide Sharon? And how bad is this situation? Meanwhile, The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday suggest that Nick Newman will grill Phyllis Summers about her alliance with Kane Ashby. Will he get any answers that he likes, or will Red continue to dodge him? Nick has been desperately trying to get through to his ex-wife, but she hasn't moved an inch on her stance. Will Kane come between Phyllis and Nick's friendship/bond? What storyline are you most looking forward to during Tuesday's show? Comment below. Tune in to the CBS Soap Daily and check out SOS often for the best Young and the Restless updates, spoilers, and news. Billy Abbott has lost his spark on The Young and the Restless. Fans say it's time for a reset before his spiral drives everyone away. The Young and the Restless, Billy Abbott has officially worn out his welcome with many viewers. Once a layered and charismatic character, he's now stuck in an endless cycle of bitterness, business schemes, and revenge plots. And fans are over it. From the moment Jill sold Chancellor Industries, Billy has become a shell of himself. The character is nothing but a one-note man with a focus on business. To be fair, that has become somewhat of a norm on Y&R. However, Billy just keeps crossing lines. Billy keeps pushing everyone away due to his own obsession with revenge on, well, pretty much anyone who gets in his way. Jack and Sally are at the top of this list of those he's pushing away. Sally took Billy back, but we all know it won't last, thanks to Billy's being his own worst enemy. It's time for a Billy reset or revamp, which can happen if fans get a little break from him. Although we would miss Thompson on screen because he's amazing, it would give the character a much-needed shakeup. Perhaps Billy can spend time with Jill, and they can deal with the hurt she caused him, and the hurt he caused her. One fan agreed with that sentiment, writing on X, "I'm going to need Billy and Jill to resolve their issues soon, because it's a driving factor of seeing Billy this much on screen barking about Kane and Chancellor. It does look like we will get more Jill, but the overall story needs resolution. Billy used to be so likable, a little humorous, and more lighthearted. These days, though, he's cringy and very unenjoyable to watch. Several Y&R fans agree that we can do without Billy for a while. All in favor of a break from Billy Abbott for at least a year? Raise your hand," asked a fan. The same fan shared another X expressing, "Billy seriously needs at least a one-year break. With his spiraling, once again, it should lead to something that gets him injured and going into a coma. They can bring him back a year later and reset him." Not everyone is blaming Billy for his bad behavior or being too much lately. One fan feels Kane triggers something in Billy because of the way Jill treats Billy versus Kane. Audra and Kyle's heated conversations has fans wondering if the sparks that are flying are indeed real. Audra and Kyle seem to enjoy going toe-to-toe with one another on The Young and the Restless. Viewers can't help but wonder what's brewing between them. Is there more going on, or do they really hate each other? Y&R fans on Reddit can't help but notice chemistry between Kyle and Audra. It's as if they enjoy running into each other, so they can let out some steam. One Redditor wanted to know where this storyline was headed. Audra loves calling Kyle a Nepo baby at any time. Meanwhile, Kyle vows to run her out of town. They wrote, "I really don't understand this thing Audra and have going on. One might think they are on the verge of sleeping together again. However, the way she belittles him tells me she has lost all respect she's had for him. But has Audra ever respected Kyle? Sure, they hooked up and worked together until he betrayed her at the hands of Victor, who's now playing with Kyle's father, Jack. Some fans are hoping this storyline will lead to a steamy hookup between them. However, other viewers aren't as amused by these scenes and hope they will wrap up sometime soon. "It's so stupid! It goes nowhere! It solves nothing," one fan wrote. This back-and-forth vomit foreplay with Kyle and Audra is like watching animals mate with backbiting. They need to hurry up and admit they are madly in love. They can join forces and both be as bad as they want. Together. Claire and Nate and the rest of GC be damned, someone else begged. Fans were mixed on their tension. Some were reminded of high school relationships, while others found the scenes boring. Yet, some fans believe this buildup will lead to a whodunit mystery, with Audra as the victim. It wouldn't be out of the question, since she has a growing list of haters. Unless they are leading to an Audra kidnapping or attempted murder, so that Kyle looks guilty, I'm also not sure why we keep seeing Kyle and Audra go out at it with each other. I hope the writers aren't doing this just to create sexual tension between them, so they end up in bed together again. One Redditor noted, Adam and Chelsea have a bumpy road ahead of them. The young and the restless couple Adam and Chelsea, aka Chidam, are happier than ever. Between work and home, everything's going smoothly. However, Melissa Claire Egan hints that drama is on the way. Adam and Chelsea's latest reunion has them mixing business and pleasure. Victor, who is Chidam's biggest supporter, offered Chelsea a job at Newman Media, which she accepted. Although Chelsea enjoys working with Adam, the couple have been clashing lately. Adam and Victor are still feuding with Billy, and they're using Newman Media to knock him down a peg. While Chelsea is usually supportive of Adam, she disagrees with him and Victor attacking Billy. It's no surprise that Chelsea is defending her ex, but her support might lead to trouble. Egan tells Woman's World that Chelsea is in a tough predicament, playing peacemaker for all sides. The actress explained how Billy was there for her during the darkest point in her life, something Chelsea's grateful for. You have to remember that Billy literally saved her life on that roof, and then she cheated on him, Egan revealed. She wants to support Adam, but she has a lot of guilt about her man going after her ex who saved her life. It's tricky. While Chelsea wants this war with Billy to end, it's difficult with Victor pulling the strings. Egan says Adam acting like Victor's minion is an issue for Chelsea. There's a struggle with him obeying Victor, and she feels like maybe he's not listening to her. When Adam and Chelsea reunited, their exes Billy and Sally became a couple. However, recent events seem to hint that a couple's swap could be happening between Chidam and Silly. Billy's reckless behavior and his desire to regain control of Chancellor will be the breaking point for Sally. She sacrificed everything to follow Billy's dream of starting Abbott Communications. Now, he's throwing all that away because of his obsession with Chancellor. Meanwhile, Adam and Chelsea will continue to argue about Billy. Since Adam isn't slowing down his attack on Billy, Chelsea might end up walking out on Adam. With Billy and Chelsea single again, the two could reignite their relationship. Billy needs all the support he can get, something Chelsea, not Sally, is willing to give him. Chili's reunion will lead to heartbreak, but a possible reconciliation for Sally and Adam. Melissa Ordway and Justin Gaston took a stroll down memory lane during a recent getaway. On The Young and the Restless, Melissa Ordway's character Abby is accustomed to romantic drama. However, in real life, the actress and her husband, Justin Gaston, Natine, remain strong. Recently, the couple took a trip that commemorated a special milestone in their lives. Ordway and Gaston are one of soap's cutest couples. The two have been married since 2012 and celebrated their 13th wedding anniversary on September 22nd. The actress is still as madly in love with her husband as ever, and isn't afraid to show off their home life. Recently, the couple embarked on a trip to a place that holds special meaning to them. On Sunday, October 5th, Ordway posted an Instagram photo of herself and Gaston at El Matador Beach. The Malibu locale marked a significant milestone for the couple. Went back to the place where Ajay Michael Gaston asked me to be his wife. 14 years later, it's still the best thing I've ever said yes to, Ordway captioned the photo of her and Gaston kissing. While her post was sentimental, Gaston added a dash of humor. "Oh, oui," he commented on his wife's photo. The couple received many congratulations and well wishes on their anniversary post. Ordway's former Y&R co-star and current General Hospital actor Daniel Goddard joked, "Get a room, Ikes." A lot has changed during Ordway and Gaston's 14 years together. The couple adopted a daughter, Olivia, in 2016, and then in 2017, Ordway gave birth to their second daughter, Sophie. In 2024, The family of four made a big move when they traded California for Nashville, Tennessee. Although Ordway loves her new home in Nashville, the actress makes occasional trips to Los Angeles to film Y&R. While the star is now on recurring status, she's still a big part of the show. Ordway's character, Abby, has been living blissfully with her new husband, Devin. However, drama might ensue for the couple thanks to Kane's business war. With the Newmans, Abbotts, and Winters going to battle with Kane, Abby will be stuck in the middle. Perhaps the Newman heiress will utilize her business acumen to help defuse the situation. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates reveal Sienna Bacall will be making her first appearance as Sharon Newman, and Nick Newman look for answers. Furthermore, Kyle Abbott is poised to take a surprising action that will surely leave Claire Newman in shock soon enough. During the week of October 6–10, Victor Newman will launch a media assault on Kane Ashby, with Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson rewarded. Jill Abbott and Lily Winters will react strongly as Kane's reputation is once again tarnished. This situation will leave Kane with questions regarding Colin Atkinson's widow scam and the funds used to establish Arabesque. Additionally, Tessa Porter and Daniel Romalotti Jr. will update Sharon on troubling news. This is concerning Mariah Copeland's recent business trip, leading to significant discoveries from their hotel investigation. During the week of October 6th, Jack Abbott will passionately ask Jill for assistance, but ultimately, he will go directly to Kane with his worries. Jack will urge Kane to cease all plans for dominating Genoa City and to leave Jabot out of it. Meanwhile, Danny Romalotti and Christine Blair will continue their wedding preparations as they make a significant decision that will impact their ceremony. On the other hand, Phyllis Summers is set to find herself in a scandal. There will be a compromising situation involving Phyllis, and we will find out if it relates to criminal activities or possibly a steamy encounter with Kane. From October 13 to 17, Sharon and Nick will work to uncover the issues surrounding Noah Newman. There's something troubling Noah that they haven't yet deciphered, but they hope to gain clarity when they speak with him face to face. However, they are about to become embroiled in a mystery that raises serious concerns about their son's safety. Noah will find himself in peril, prompting Nick, Sharon, and Detective Burrow to step in to rescue him. Additionally, Tamara Braun will debut as Sienna Bacall on October 14th, giving fans the opportunity to meet this Hollywood club owner and gradually learn more about her. Roger Howarth is slated to portray a mysterious stranger, but could he be a familiar face to fans? It's possible that Howarth is taking on the role of Tucker McCall, previously played by Trevor St. John, but we will keep you updated as more information about his character comes to light. Claire will also face some unexpected visitors, as Victoria Newman is set to arrive in LA. And then Kyle will appear to try to win Claire back. We have a feeling that Kyle's plan might not unfold as he wishes. The week of October 20th and 24th, Claire is thrown into danger as well. It seems reasonable to transform this into a key overarching storyline, potentially one where Holden Novak's past intersects with Claire's present circumstances. If Claire is taken hostage along with Noah, it could result in a major crisis for the Newman family. Kyle might be thankful to be in Los Angeles if he needs to act quickly to rescue Claire from a hazardous situation. The Young and the Restless spoilers suggest that Kane will also face some hard choices regarding his future in GC, so make sure to stay tuned for what's coming. Victor thought he could get on Phyllis's good side, but she was already onto his game. Victor thought he could sweeten Phyllis up on The Young and the Restless on October 7th, but she wasn't willing to take the bait. She didn't even break a sweat as she refused to let the mustache get under her skin. Phyllis walked into society and saw Victor Newman in all his glory. He asked her to join him. It didn't take him long to bring up Kane Ashby. Phyllis laughed and assured Eric that their work relationship is going well. Victor wanted answers. He wanted to know why she stooped so low to work with Kane. Phyllis explained that she took a chance and seized the opportunity. She's offering Kane her technical expertise. Victor warned her about her blind loyalty, but Phyllis could see through Victor and his probing questions. He was shaken up that she was working with Kane. She enjoyed seeing him this way. Phyllis warned Victor what's coming next for him, but Victor claimed he was undeterred. He just wanted to know what they were working on. Phyllis could tell that he wanted the information straight from her, Victor reminded her that he tried to warn her. He wanted to know what she would gain from working with Kane, other than a generous lump sum. Phyllis enjoyed seeing Victor get shaken up. She told him that she wouldn't tell him anything. Her lips were sealed. It's bad enough that Phyllis already spilled about Kane's AI plans. Still, she's confident that her plan with Kane will take them to the top. Then, Phyllis warned Victor about what's coming for him. However, Victor warned Phyllis that Kane could hurt Nick and Summer, even though she can't think straight. She's desperate. Phyllis claimed that Victor is nervous because his days are numbered. So, who was left shaken and stirred by this conversation? Victor is just as desperate as Phyllis. He's teaming up with Jack, whom he could end up betraying in the end. So far, Phyllis hasn't let Victor get to her head. She thinks she's a good fit for Kane because they share a similar ambition and ruthless nature. She believed that she had already achieved success with Kane,